Let's get started with some of the exercises that you could experience in the Pilates repertoire. Many things in Pilates involve flexion, so we're going to do a lot of the same exercises, just avoiding rounding the head, rounding the spine. We also want to do as much as possible to stress the heel bone, the calcaneus and the cuboid, the main bones of the heel, which drive the most impact to your hips. So for example, just standing in this position, doing what we call heel drops, where you're working on a little bit of balance and drawing your core muscles in, and then dropping through, creating a bit of a weight-bearing thud with your heels, right? You could hold on to a wall, you could hold on to a kitchen counter, but the point is that we're just trying to create stress and impact for the bone. We also do some movements that stomp or create a little bit more power and a little bit more variety in the heels here. I like to think about this as just kind of mashing through something, or going in here and just kind of bringing it like I'm kind of trying to smash a series of grapes. We also want to change each leg and make sure that we're varying the pace so that the bone gets used to new forms of stress. We practice a lot in the Pilates repertoire how to do a hip hinge. And that means a flat back position that again doesn't round either through the upper spine or through the lower spine, but it uses the hip bones. We want that stress in there. A flat back involves drawing a lot of abdominal muscles in and trying not to push out where you create excessive arch in your low back. I'm going to use that hip hinge to take myself down into a lunge, which is a safe place to come onto the floor. Coming down onto the side of the hip, and then I'm going to come onto my back. A Pilates breath is maybe different than what you may know from other forms of exercise. We want to make sure our setup is correct, where we have a small space under the low back, but never pushing down into the low back. And instead, we want to draw energy into the core. So I'm going to take an inhale through the nose, and as I exhale, I'm going to hug my core muscles in. A good way to check to see if you're doing it right is to laugh. Ha 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 ha. You can sort of see and feel that deep connection to your core. Again, we just don't want to push down into the back. I see many of my clients as they initially start this, where they do a form of a pelvic thrust, and that's not really helpful, and it's contraindicated as well. So I want to try to stress as many parts of my bones as I can. This is called an ab press, where I'm going to give my wrists some attention against my thighs and have the thighs meet back while I'm drawing my abs in. It's a lot. I take an inhale, and as I exhale, I'm going to draw those core muscles in and press my hand against the thigh. Inhale again, keeping shoulders down, and exhale, feeling the force for about 3, 2, 1. Inhale and exhale, pull that in. Trust me, you could just be lying down in your bed and doing this. It's a lot of work. From there, I'm going to learn how to bring my legs and hold them into tabletop, which is no small thing. Again, I want to keep that small space under my low back, but safe enough so I don't feel any arch there. I'll take both hands against the thigh, trying to create a right angle with my thighs and not letting my hip flexors dominate here. As I exhale, I'm going to press out to stretch through the heel, creating a force of resistance there. Inhale, I'll switch to the other side, and exhale, pressing out. Notice that I'm trying to create some force through the heel rather than just straightening the leg, and all while I'm trying to breathe and pull those abs in. It's a lot. From there, I'm going to roll onto my stomach in a prone position and just show some of the exercises that we would do in an extension phase here. Extension, or lifting through the upper back, is a wonderful way to counter-effect the form of flexion that can create roundness or kyphosis in the upper back. With my hands sort of at chin level here, my thighs pressing down and my abs drawing up, I'm just going to create small little opening of the chest as I draw up, trying to create just like a staircase of a pattern there, and not straining or lifting what I call your turtle head too quickly. We can also come up into a quadruped position, where we are creating some weight bearing for the wrists and also some additional work for the core. In this position, I want to make sure that my wrists are aligned with my shoulders and that my knees are stacked right on top of under my hips. I'm going to slowly offload those wrists as I come forward into a half plank position, and then exhale using my abdominals in that flat back, draw back. Not everyone is comfortable being on our wrist. We understand that, and through the program you would see many modifications for those who have that challenge. At that point, I'll come down onto my side and show you some of the sideline legs positions here. We could be down, lying on the arm. I like to create even a hip hinge here, what we call a banana pose, where you keep the upper spine level, your head looking straight up, and stressing the lower level without feeling too much strain in the back. Imagine that you're just pressing down strongly into the floor while creating a weight, like you're trying to lift the ceiling towards the sky, and then draw it back down. I can inhale here, and as I exhale, pull my low belly in. I'm trying to create as much resistance as possible. It looks easy, but it isn't. I could take my hand here and create a little extra force there. There's so many possibilities on the side. It's the safest place of possible to work. Of course, I'd want to do both sides, but just for this sampler, I'm going to stop there. Thanks so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you the next time.